Okay, now I don't believe in ghosts, but this ghost, I am not joking, that I ended up going towards, ended up grabbing my eggplant and literally twisted it. Now, I know you guys might think I sound crazy, but yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy but super embarrassing story. Now, today's story all takes place back when I was in high school, and this was my grade 9 year. Now, in grade 9, I was just an ordinary kid that honestly was into video games, and I guess I was into women as well, but not to a point where I would give up video games. Yeah, I guess I was pulling a Doug Sensor Martin, if you guys know who that is. Basically, I was kind of more into video games and playing Call of Duty than having a hot Latina girlfriend. Not exactly, but if you guys get the reference, you guys get it. But anyways, going on with the story, I remember this one specific time. I was in my grade 9 year and I was walking down the school hallway with some of my friends. Now, my one friend, we're just gonna call him Cole for this video. He ended up walking with me and we ended up going down this hallway together. And as we're walking, he looks at me and says, "Yo, Bubba, I'm just curious, bro. Do you think like this Halloween's gonna be like, you know, actually fun this year?" What do you mean, Cole? Well, like, I don't know. Like, I think we should actually do like the fun stuff that the school's hosting, like, you know, the haunted house and, you know, the Halloween dance. In my mind, I don't know. It was our first year of high school. Like, I was a freshman. Okay, so I didn't really know anything. So him telling me this, I was like, I mean, if you wanna, it wouldn't hurt to actually try it. Yeah, like, we're full-on adults now, basically. Like, we should actually go and have fun and do freaky stuff, if you know what I mean. I don't know why, but he said it in the most weirdest way when he explained it to me, but I was down for it, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, if you wanna, I'm down. Let's figure it out and see what the school's hosting. So me and Cole, we ended up going to this leadership classroom where all the leadership students that planned everything for the school year all hung out. And when we walked up to one of the girls that were in there, we ended up asking them, "Hey, so like, I'm just wondering, is there any like cool like Halloween stuff happening this year?" "Obviously, silly. You know how many cool things are happening? Like, we have the haunted house this year. We have the trick-or-treat classroom treat happening. We have the jamboree and we have the Halloween dance." "Okay, cool. But I'm just saying, like, is there anything like parties happening?" "Oh, you're talking about the school after party." And this girl ended up explaining how one of the high school students that were in the grade 12 year always ended up hosting a Halloween party at his parents' mansion that was literally insane. At this moment, we wanted the details, obviously, but for some reason, the rule for this Halloween party specifically was that girls got free entry, but guys had to get a specific invite to a group chat that was allowed to go to this party. I know it sounds kind of insane, but it makes sense. Like, as you get older, you start realizing that clubs even do this. They let girls in for free and guys have to pay. Kind of sucky, but at the same time, it was high school and we thought it was kind of a quest in a way. So knowing that, me and my buddy, we ended up walking up towards the grade 12 students where they were all hanging out at during lunchtime. And we walked up to the grade 12 that had the mansion, well, his parents' mansion, but basically we went up to this rich kid and we said to him, "Hey, we're just curious, is it cool if like we come to your party that's happening this Halloween?" "You two want to come to my party?" Yeah, is that allowed? You guys are like new to the school, aren't you?" "Yeah. Can we go to the party?" I remember he kept like basically like looking at us up and down as if he was checking us out, which is kind of gay, but at the same time, I didn't really know what was going on with him. But then he ended up saying, "You know what? You guys can come to the party." "Sweet, that's awesome. But you guys need to do me one favor." At this moment, we didn't know what he wanted, but then he ended up telling us how he wanted us to basically steal from the cafeteria. I don't really know why. It was kind of the most dumbest quest ever, but he wanted us to steal pumpkin pie from the cafeteria. So me and my buddy Cole, we ended up walking in there. He got a piece of pumpkin pie, put it under his shirt, and me, I ended up actually buying something just to, you know, distract the lunch lady that was there. And yeah, we stole a piece of pie. Honestly, it wasn't anything insane. It wasn't anything extravagant. We're here to learn about how a ghost touched my eggplant. So let's continue on with the story. One thing leads to another. We give him this pie. He puts us in the group chat. And this is where things get exciting. Because I remember I ended up going home that day and we get invited to this group chat. And as days went on, I ended up seeing a lot of like older students in that group chat. And a lot of them were planning some pretty crazy stuff. It even got to a point where one of the guys in the group chat ended up typing down how the ratio between guys and girls was going to be insane. Like, I could easily say, I remember this party so vividly, but there was over like, I want to say 100 girls at that party. And there was maybe like, I want to say 12 guys, not even, maybe like even 7 over time, because a lot of the guys were taken by girls. So me and my buddy Cole, we got super excited to go to this party. And when the day finally came of the party, I remember me and Cole decided to just do a basic costume. He ended up going as Hugh Hefner. If you guys don't know who that is, maybe it's best if you don't know who that is. And then me, I ended up going as a cowboy. Why? Because what girl doesn't like Western Texas, you know, cowboy Indian attacker looking dudes? You know what I mean? Like, cowboys are lit. I thought cowboys were awesome, and I kind of like, you know, had a stubble, so I thought it would work out. So I remember I ended up getting ready and I ended up meeting up with Cole outside of, you know, the millionaire's house. And when we saw this guy's mansion, it was massive. It was like insanely massive to the point where I was like in major shock. We ended up going up to the front door, and right away there was like a guard or security person there, and he was looking at me and Cole, and he looked at us saying, "You guys were invited to this party?" "Yeah." "All right. You guys in the group chat? Yeah, we are. What's the code in the group chat? At this moment, me and Cole pulled out our phones. We ended up saying the code to him that was only typed in the group chat, and we ended up entering inside. When we got inside, I remember this grade 12 millionaire that owned the house. He ended up looking at us walking in. He actually looked at us in shock, and he's like, oh my goodness, you guys actually showed up. No way. Here, have a beer. By the way, quick warning. No one should underage drink, okay? Underage drinking is not cool. YouTube, I'm saying this for educational purposes. Don't underage drink. It does not make you special. It does not make you cool. It doesn't make you popular. It doesn't do anything helpful, okay? Fair warning. But anyways, he ends up handing me and Cole a beer, and I'm not gonna lie, this time I didn't really drink, so drinking beer was disgusting. If anything, I kind of like poured it down the sink over time just to make it seem like I was cool and kind of pretended to be drunk, so I seemed, you know, epic. That sounded really sad what I just said, but you guys understand, right? No? Probably not. Going on, I remember it got to a point where the party was getting super lit. The music was loud. Me and my buddy Cole, we actually started meeting girls until we met this one girl. Now, this one girl that was super attractive. She was a part of the cheerleading team at the time, or, you know, she was a grade 12 cheerleader, basically. So we didn't really know her, but she basically was surprised that we were there. She started talking to us and ended up saying something insane where she said, "You guys want to know something insane?" Yeah, what is it? "Do you guys know, like, this house is haunted? This mansion is haunted," is what I said out loud. And she's like, shh, don't say anything, but yeah, it's haunted. And it's super, super spooky. And there's one room in this house in the west wing that you guys cannot go to. I remember me and Cole looked at each other and we're like, there's no way. Like, this girl's capping, trying to scare us since we're in grade 9. But she's like, if you don't believe me, go up to the west wing. You'll see. I remember Cole ends up looking at me and he's like, okay, dude, you don't believe it. Go to the west wing. What? Why would I go to the west wing? You go to the west wing with me. Nah, there's no way, bro. And then this girl ends up looking at me and she's like, aw, are you too scared, Bubba? And at that moment, I ended up basically getting my cowboy hat and I decided to go to the room in the west wing. I ended up going up the stairs and heading there. And once I walked inside the room, I realized it was really dark. And it was like kind of spooky because there was like a really giant mirror there. And as I'm looking like at this mirror in this really dark room, I ended up feeling someone run towards me, push me onto the bed, and literally like their hand just ended up grabbing my eggplant and twisting it. I know that sounds insane, but I was so scared to the point where I remember I jumped out and I'm like got terrified because all I felt was a sheet. So I'm like freaking out and everything. And I look over at this person and I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? And then right away, I ended up basically seeing the lights turn on in the room. And there was a girl under the sheet with holes in it. And she was the one on top of me. And she's just laughing as this door is opening and everyone's pointing at me, laughing at me. There was like 7 different girls laughing. And there was like 2 other dudes that were dating some of the girls that were in that group of 7. And yeah, they're all at the door pointing at me and laughing. I got so embarrassed. And I remember I got so mad to the point where I ended up just leaving the party. And I'm like, you know what? These parties suck anyways. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. During winter break, a lot of people brought up this crazy event that happened. But overall, yeah, I don't believe in ghosts. And if you do, click on one of the videos on screen right now or just fall for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.